Who's paying for all of this? Will you ask Congress? Boehner wants to know if you'll ask for a supplemental budget request to pay the hundreds of millions of dollars that U.S. taxpayers have already spent. Who's going to pay for this?
Boy, I'm not sure where you're getting the number hundreds of millions of dollars, Wolf. I think that's an exaggeration.
Well, you know how much a Tomahawk cruise missile costs?
Well, again, if you... We're not setting out with a policy of regime change here. We set out a very defined goal here, which is we would shape the environment and enable our international partners to take over the no-fly zone. We're on the verge of doing that. Importantly, over the last couple of days...
Wait, hold on, Dennis. I'm sorry for interrupting, but you just said something. You said it's not a policy of regime change.
Correct.
But the how many times has the president said over the past few weeks, Gaddafi must go?
Well, I haven't counted, Wolf. Maybe you have, but
at least a dozen.
Well, I take your word for it, as I always do.
Doesn't that mean regime change if Gaddafi must go?
Well, I think you're kind of asking a couple different questions now, Wolf. You asked whether it was an acceptable outcome. And what we've said is we've set out a very specific goal for our forces, an accomplishable task, which, incidentally, because of their great performances, our Marines, our sailors, our airmen, our soldiers, because of their great efforts, we have turned back the forces from Benghazi, and we are on the verge now of being able to hand over the conduct of the no-fly zone to our allies.
But must Gaddafi go?
Well, that's going to be a determination for the Libyan people to make.
But the president says he must go.
Well, I'm not going to improve on the good answer that the president gave on this question yesterday, which I know you watched, and which was obviously a part of his press conference yesterday.
Is that U.S. policy still that Gaddafi must go?
Well, the president did outline exactly what our policy view is.
He said Gaddafi must go.
Yeah, and he explained to you yesterday, and I'm explaining to you again today, that the mission we've set out as it relates to this effort over the last several days has been to shape the environment, to be able to bring along the international allies so that it's not just our troops and not just our taxpayers who are carrying out these efforts and investing their resources, but rather the whole world, because frankly this isn't solely our problem, Wolf. This is a problem for the world, and so we're bringing along the Arab League, we're bringing along the UN, we're bringing along our European allies.
I don't want to be a pest, but if the policy is Gaddafi must go, I assume that means regime change, but you just said the policy was not regime change.
I think I was responding to the question that you asked from the letter from the speaker, which I indicated was another good opportunity to continue the conversation with him. So, and as it relates to whether it's an acceptable outcome, the question is, we're not pursuing regime change as a result of this military effort. That's been quite clear since the president addressed it with the American people.